Hello everybody, here we are at BAE Systems at Edinburgh Park in South Australia. We've locked their main gates, we've locked their exit gate. This is a place that makes parts for F-35s. This is a place that makes parts for all sorts of weapons. There's about 1,000 people employed here. We've got someone locked onto the gate. We'll just have a look at the chain. There we go. It's a bit dark, but we can see that. And just to show you where we are, BAE Systems in the back. This facility's got about 6 or 7 warehouse factory type things, and it employs about 1,000 people. Parts are made here to be for F-35s, are sent to Marand in Victoria, and there are parts sent from here to the UK, to BAE's head facility in the UK, and from there they can go anywhere in the world. So before we go much further, we'll just acknowledge that we're on the lands of the Kaurna people. The system that came and colonised them, repressed them, committed violence against them, killed them, is still going. Aboriginal people are still repressed. Their culture is still repressed. Companies like this are behind it. They profit off taking over the land and the resources of this whole continent. They don't care about the people who live on it. And we pay our respect to elders past and present. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Here today we're targeting BAE Systems. It's a British company. It makes about 15% of the F-35s for Lockheed Martin. Here they're making parts for the tails, the vertical tail system of these things, F-35s. And those are sent from here to Marand, where they're assembled with parts from other manufacturers. If you've ever wondered what the term military industrial complex means, that's exactly what it means. They've broken the whole manufacture of these things up into, in Australia, 70 companies make parts for F-35s. It's a really complicated system. For the tails, it's controlled by BAE Systems. For the rest of the planes, it's controlled by Lockheed Martin. Distribution of all the parts internationally is done by Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin are somewhere in here as well. We haven't been able to find where they are, but we certainly know where BAE are. So I'm just going to have a chat to a couple of people. Here's someone. Do you want to tell us why you're here today?
I'm waging peace. Peace is what it's about, not war. War and the machinery to make war is nothing short of a crime, and it's being used right now in the Middle East for genocide, and that is totally unacceptable. We need peace, we need cooperation, not competition. War is just a form of extreme competition, and it's high time it stopped. We need to cooperate. Peace. Thank you.
Lovely. And at the other end of this amazing banner, why are you here today?
Free Palestine, fuck Netanyahu, fuck Zionism, free Palestine.
Thank you. We'll just go out, we've got some more folks out here. Let's see who's here. Now we're being watched by security. They've driven up here and had a quick chat. We're just going to see what happens. Why are you here today?
We're here because the weapons components that are being manufactured here are being used to kill people all across the globe. That is blood on the hands of the South Australian government. That is blood on the hands of the South Australian people, and we will not countenance that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So this factory facility, there's about 6 or 7 factories out behind this building, is a stone's throw from the RAAF Edinburgh base. Inside there we've got Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and there's a whole host of weapons manufacturers working inside there, making parts for who knows what. They're certainly building stuff for the Air Force. They're building and assembling drones. They're flying Australia's large drone fleet, Northrop Grumman Tritons. They're flying that from Edinburgh Air Force Base. There are thousands of people working there for all these companies. These companies have inserted themselves into Australia's defence system. They're actually controlling what's going on. They're controlling what Australia does in the way of defence.
They plug themselves into suburbia. Unbelievable targeting.
Yes, do you want to say that one again?
These companies have plugged themselves into suburbia, and the people around about don't even know what a target they actually are. It's tragic. It's shocking. It's criminal.
Exactly. BAE Systems here is also making parts for naval shipbuilding. They will be making parts here for AUKUS when that happens. BAE Systems are there ready to grab the money. They've got this facility here and they think they're going to be making parts for the AUKUS submarines here at this point, this place. And it's not very far down to the Osborne shipworks where the AUKUS submarines will supposedly be built. The never-ending bucket of money that's going out of Australia for nothing, absolutely zero return. That was always going to be the case, and we knew it was going to be the case. So I'll just ask this person why they're here. Do you want to tell us why you're here?
Oh, yes, it's great to be here on such a lovely, brisk morning and looking forward to meeting some of the BAE staff as they come in. It's such a difficult situation now, and the world is recognising that everybody is being pulled in to this unwanted conflict in the Middle East. But here in South Australia, we are a big part of making the weapons that are damaging civilians, or damaging everybody. But in particular, the aircraft, the F-35 that we make components here in South Australia for, have got advanced recognition systems. They can look at tiny things on the ground, and that's a much vaunted feature of these weapons, that they can do the reconnaissance and attack all in one hit, literally. If they can do that, they should know when they're hitting a school, when they're hitting a hospital, when they're damaging vital infrastructure like water resources, when they're really damaging the civilian structure. You can't claim that you can have a clean war that takes out facilities and doesn't damage civilians, and we are complicit in that. South Australia is barreling ahead, trying to make a beachhead, sorry for using that word, of making these weapons and improving them, if you want to use that word. And we're trying to make a name for ourselves as a weapons manufacturer. So many other industries that we could be involved in that would actually add value to the whole of the world instead of causing destruction. It's heartbreaking that this should be done.
Yeah. You touched on a really good point there, that the South Australian and Australian governments see this place at Edinburgh as it is the largest defence precinct in the country, but they see this as expanding, and they see an expansion coming for the export of weapons. That's what they're aiming for, a weapons export economy for South Australia, and we need to push back against that. That's a really good point you raised.
Yeah, and we are hoping that other people pick up on this. There are many, many things that we could be doing. We could be we're already manufacturing solar panels. We could be manufacturing electric vehicles much more. We're the centre of the country in a transport sense. Things go through Port Augusta. We could be having recharging stations. We could be having everything that makes the world a better place to live in. And here we are trying to tear it down, trying to create expertise. I can actually see the fascination. And it's interesting, if you go on to if you just Google F-35 and look at the facilities in the aircraft, for example, it looks like an advert for an advanced car. It looks like something a young bloke would like to drive and fly. And they're trying to aim it at that kind of level of excitement, which is a sad thing to say, oh, right, this stuff is so exciting, we can get in there and, well, kill people. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, let's make things that blow shit up. That seems to be what they're pitching it at. It's the same people who love V8 supercar races. They're pitching it at those people. Yeah. And they think this is all fantastic, without any thought for what happens to all these things. Stuff that's made here gets exported for terror somewhere else. Palestine, West Papua, all over the world, stuff that's made here is being used for that. Now, I'll just recap where we are. There's a group of people have locked the entry and exit gates to the BAE Systems facility at Edinburgh Park in South Australia. We've got somebody locked onto the gate. Person locked onto the gate here. And we're here before the start of work, so fairly soon people are going to start rolling into work and they'll get a little surprise. And we're just getting the first glimmer of light in the sky over here. We're about 20 k's north of the CBD. And this whole area is, like we said, a defence precinct. So immediately behind this BAE factory, we've got the Australian Government's Defence Science Technology. Their particular focus is electronics and cyber warfare. Across the road, and just a little bit further down the road here, is the RAAF Edinburgh Air Force Base. Boeing has just built a major 737 maintenance facility there, using taxpayers' money, of course, and that will be servicing 737 aircrafts that fly for the Australian and New Zealand Air Forces. They've got Northrop Grumman have a maintenance facility for Triton drones. These are giant drones the size of jets that are flown from here, but they will also be maintained here. They'll be maintaining those for the Australian Defence Force and the US Indian Ocean Navy. Also inside there we've got Airbus, we've got Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman. There's a whole host of these companies that are in there. The RAAF base itself is supposed to be the Australian Defence Force base, but the insertion of all of these weapons makers into that base, a lot of them are inside that base, as a surefire indication that wars are now being controlled by corporations and the governments are being controlled by those corporations. About 10 kilometres from here is Mawson Lakes, which has got the so-called technology park. Well, there are missile makers there with their factories. Raytheon is there, Kongsberg is there, Saab is there, Lockheed Martin is there. And recently Lockheed Martin opened a guided missile factory about 100 kilometres north of Adelaide at Port Wakefield on defence land, so it's protected by defence land, where they're making missiles for the Australian Defence Force and for export. So that's where we're headed in South Australia. We've got a government, federal and state governments, that want this to become a weapons export state. It's happening around the country. This area that we're at used to be part of General Motors Holden, and in the transition they've switched from making motor cars, which were at least of some utility to people, to making weapons to destroy other places around the world. All of these signs are particularly pertinent with what's going on in Iran at the moment and continuing to happen in Gaza, in the West Bank, in Lebanon. So we've got people here from a number of local groups, Extinction Rebellion, Independent and Peaceful Australia Network, Port Adelaide Citizens Opposing AUKUS. So this is the Free Palestine movement. So there's a range of people here, and we just get together because we're just sick of what's going on. We're sick of all these weapons that are being built on our back doorstep. So people are starting to roll up for work now.
This place is a labour of hate.
Do you want to repeat that?
This place is a labour of hate.
It is. That's exactly what it is.
Absolute hatred. And people don't even know that they've been sucked in to the hatred machinery. And we're here as the labour of love, because peace is what it's all about. That's the way the world will go forward, not with hatred and warfare. We need to go forward with peace.
Exactly. That is what it's about, hence the flag, the peace flag you've got there. So this is the old flag from the campaign for nuclear disarmament. Who thought that these would have to have been pulled out of storage and brought out again? Peace, that's what it's about. We want peace. Wage peace, not war. So we've got somebody else here we might talk to. Do you want to tell us why you're here?
Because these guys are making weapons parts, weapons that end up in the Middle East killing innocent people, innocent children, innocent families. It's not on. This is not the world we want. And these guys try and pretend they're good people. You know what? Killing people is not good, especially innocent people.
Thank you. And that's exactly what's happening around the world, isn't it?
Yes. It is.
Oh, this is interesting. There is another car park further down this road, but the cars seem to be going down there and doing a U-turn and coming out again. And they're going into a boom-gated entrance further up. So I think we've forced them to close the other car park as well. There is a boom gate entrance that gives entry into BAE Systems and into Defence land. So it looks like they've rerouted people from the BAE car park into the car park that goes through the Defence boom gate. So just recapping, folks, we're here at BAE Systems at Edinburgh Park in South Australia. We've locked the entry gate and the exit gate to their car park. They've got 3 car parks, we've locked one of them. It looks like they've locked their second car park themselves and they're rerouting people back through the Defence land boom gate. They must have a back way of getting into another car park. So that's been successful. We've got somebody chained onto the gate. And the gate is chained shut. And the light's a bit bright, the street light, but you can just see the BAE Systems sign in the background. And this is why we're here. BAE Systems is arming genocide. In this facility, they make parts for F-35s. They make parts for naval shipbuilding. They might already be making parts for AUKUS, the AUKUS that will never turn up, the submarines. It's a large facility. There's about 1,000 people working here. Oh, and look at that. And they're flying an Aboriginal flag, as if they believe in any of that. So this facility is part of the expansion of the weapons economy in South Australia. The Australian government and on Defence land, and the South Australian government on South Australian government land is encouraging the building of factories to make weapons. Trying to build a weapons export economy. That's what they're about. Yeah, there's just a discussion going on here about the car park. I think they've closed that car park.
I reckon they've been told.
Yeah, people are just doing a U-turn at the end and coming back. So that's BAE's main car park down there. Yeah, so this is very close to, this is in what's called a defence precinct. It's very close to the RAAF Edinburgh Air Force Base. It's got all the global, 7 of the 10 world's weapons makers, biggest weapons makers, are located here. BAE Systems are just on the edge of it, not on defence land, but immediately behind them and around them is all defence land. Thousands of people are employed here. This is part of the old GMH, General Motors Holden car factory, and they've converted to making parts for weapons. Instead of making something useful, something that would be useful to the population, to the general population, they're making weapons for export. So parts for F-35s are made here. They get exported to the UK, and some get sent over to Marand in Geelong in Victoria, where they're assembled into bigger parts like the vertical tail of the F-35. So it's time we stop that, and that's what we're calling on them to do. We're encouraging workers to stop working here. And we certainly want them to stop making parts for these things. So that now they're trying to open the gate. We've got someone chained to it. Okay, so this gate's trying to open. They need to disarm it. We've got someone locked onto it. Good, that stopped. That was pretty unnerving, having that gate trying to open with someone locked onto it.
Open gate's going to open automatically. Okay? And so until you get in. Well,
Let him know. I've let him know.
If you've just joined us, we're here at BAE Systems in Edinburgh Park in South Australia. This is a large BAE Systems manufacturing facility, employs about 1,000 people with multiple small factories behind this building. We have the entry and exit gates to this car park closed and somebody locked on. We've locked the gates closed. And we're here protesting the fact that they're manufacturing parts for F-35s in particular. Those are being exported from here to the UK and also sent from here to Marand, where they're assembled into bigger parts and sent out to Israel. Some of those go to Israel, and that's been proven. Despite what the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister Penny Wong were both saying earlier, that we weren't exporting parts, they're now saying that manufacturers need to stop exporting parts. So they've admitted they were doing it. They were lying to us all along. They're both complicit in the genocide going on in Gaza. F-35s are the weapon of choice for the Israeli government. They use it to destroy people's homes, people's livelihoods, to destroy people, to destroy towns with impunity. And some of those parts come from here, this very place. So that's why we're here. This BAE Systems facility is on what's called the Edinburgh Defence Precinct. We've got the RAAF Edinburgh Air Force Base, we've got Defence Science Technology, and we have global arms makers, all in this precinct. This is part of the state and federal government's plans to increase weapons exports from Australia. The South Australian government is a warmongering government. They want weapons exports increased. The Premier is the Minister for Defence and Space Technologies. It's his portfolio. He knows what's going on, he knows where these weapons are going, and he doesn't care. He sees that as part of his big picture for what South Australia is going to look like. So we've got people here from Extinction Rebellion, from Independent and Peaceful Australia Network, from Port Adelaide Citizens Opposing AUKUS, from the broader Free Palestine movement, and we've got together to just make a statement about this particular one, BAE Systems, but all the others are here and they all deserve to be called out, and this is just a warning to them that we're coming for you as well. Just down the road from here is Technology Park. Raytheon is the biggest player there, but Lockheed Martin is there, Saab is there, BAE Systems have another small factory there. Kongsberg, the Norwegian missile maker, they're there. And Lockheed Martin has just opened a guided missile factory north of Adelaide. And I should also say, and I haven't mentioned this before, Raytheon used Australian taxpayers' funds to upgrade the Woomera rocket base so that they can test hypersonic missiles. Now, these are missiles that Australia will never get, but Australia paid for the upgrade to enable them to test their hypersonic missiles. So that just shows you the shit fuckery that these people have forced on us. They've forced it on our governments. We could be doing something so much better with that money, but instead we're subsidising these weapons makers, we're protecting them on defence land, and we're allowing them to export their terror around the world. So we're just saying it's got to stop. It just has to stop. So for those who have just joined, we're here at BAE Systems in Edinburgh Park. We've locked their car park gates closed and we have a person locked onto the gates. They've just been trying to open the gate, but the chain we've put on there won't let them, so they've decided to leave us alone for a bit. We're here opposing what's going on here, and that is the manufacturer of parts for F-35s that are sent over to Marand in Victoria for export, including for export to Israel, despite what the Prime Minister says. We're sure it's still going on. And they're also exported to the UK, to BAE Systems head facilities, where they're assembled into bigger parts. BAE Systems makes about 15% of the F-35 aircraft. That is a Lockheed Martin aircraft. Lockheed Martin controls what happens to all the parts and to all the planes around the world. So they control the sales of that. They don't give a rat's about whether people are taking part in illegal wars. They don't care. They'll just sell them planes. They'll sell them parts. They'll maintain their planes for them. So that's what we're saying. We don't want this to increase in South Australia. It's big enough already. It's time they actually packed up and left. We want them out, and we want these factories and these highly skilled people making things that are useful to the people who live here, not things that are going to blow people up somewhere else. So that's why we're here. And we're going to stay put here until someone removes us. So we know about 200 or 300 metres down the road is another car park. It's used by workers at this factory. That car park's been closed. Those workers are doing a U-turn and they're coming back in through a boom gate that takes them into defence land, and they must have access to another car park behind that. So we're saying no to a weapons economy. We don't want a weapons economy. That's what the government is pushing on us. We think we should be making things that are useful to people, not things that kill people, particularly things that kill people in countries that are not ours, kill people during illegal wars, kill people during a genocide. We need all of that to stop. We don't want to be part of that. BAE Systems is complicit in the genocide that's gone on in Gaza, in the West Bank. They're now pushing into Lebanon, and they've started on Iran. So the aim there is just to flatten everything, and it's companies like this that profit from it, and they profit big time. But it's not just these weapons manufacturers. Fossil fuel companies are also profiting out of the current war in Iran. They're really making a lot of money. And they're linked. Weapons and fossil fuels are absolutely linked. The war machine runs on fossil fuel. Wars are fought for fossil fuel, so there's just this absolutely tight link between the two. The big investment houses invest in both. They're happy for the current war to cause prices to go up. They sell less stuff, but they make a lot more money. They're happy for their weapons to be used to bomb the crap out of anybody who opposes this giant system, the US imperial system. So we're starting to be able to see things a bit more clearly here. It's about 12 minutes past 6 local time. Now behind this bright shiny building, which is the main office here, two-storey, it's a big building, two-storey building, there are about 6 or 7 small factories, and they make titanium parts, precision engineered parts for all sorts of things, including for F-35s. They also contract a couple of smaller contractors who used to build stuff for General Motors Holden. They contract them to make parts for F-35s. So these people they don't care. They've distributed themselves, inserted themselves into our economy. It's going to be very hard to get them out, but we think it's time we started the push. So we have to push hard to get them out. The government comes down like a ton of bricks on us, but we'll just keep doing this.
Sun's not far from coming up.
Good morning, folks, if you've just joined us. Here we are, this is Weapons Out of Here. We're a collective of peace activists from Kaurna Yerta, Adelaide in South Australia. Today we're at BAE Systems. It's a very large facility they have on the Edinburgh Defence Precinct. We've locked their main entry and exit gates, and we have somebody locked onto the gate. Now we're here particularly because BAE Systems are complicit in genocide. They are exporting parts for F-35s which are made here. The parts go to Marand in Geelong, and there they're assembled and then exported. They also make a lot of other parts for weapons in this facility. There's about 1,000 people employed here. And today we've managed to close the car park in front of their main building, but we've also forced them to close their main staff car park. And they've rerouted staff through Australian Defence Force boom gate, and they must have access to another car park behind there somewhere. So what we've done is closed this part for the day so far. We've been on here for about an hour and a half. And we're going to stay here. There's plenty of security around keeping an eye on us. This main gate automatically tried to open about 20 minutes ago, but we have it well and truly secured shut. And now it's freaking out. It's just making all sorts of awful noises. So I think they've just got a technician here who's going to turn them all off. We're here because BAE Systems are making weapons. They're making weapons parts. Some of the parts made here go to BAE Systems in the UK. So they don't even need to have Australian export approval to send it to Israel. They can send it to anywhere they want. And there are parts made here that go to the UK, and then they can redistribute them from there. As we know, the UK is part of the US imperialist war machine. They are absolutely bent over backwards for the United States. They're complicit in genocide around the world. BAE Systems makes about 15% of the parts in a F-35 jet. They're partnered with Lockheed Martin in doing that. Some of those parts are made here. This factory is also making parts for naval shipbuilding, and it's also making parts for the AUKUS submarines, which will never eventuate. But they're still using taxpayers' money to make parts for things we'll never get. They'll send them away. So they're making stuff for export. Nearby here is the RAAF Edinburgh Air Force Base. We were there a few weeks ago at the front. Inside there we've got Boeing, we've got Lockheed Martin, we've got Northrop Grumman, and behind us a bit further, all of those companies again, and about 10 kilometres from here, they're all repeated at what's called Technology Park, which is South Australian government controlled, but the 7 of the world's 10 largest weapons manufacturers are based here. This is part of the Australian and South Australian government's push to turn us into a weapons economy, and we don't want the weapons economy, and we have to start pushing back harder than we have been. So that's why we're here. This is the start of a campaign to push back against them. Arms dealers export terror, and that's exactly what they do. These companies are arming Israel. We need them to stop doing that. And we do not want a weapons economy. These companies are all complicit in genocide. Genocide in Palestine, genocide around the world. They've now started on Lebanon. They're bombing Iran. These companies are complicit in all of that. So we have our police liaison just having a chat with our bunny. Got somebody chained to the gate. Now, normally this car park would be full. And to the east of here is a larger car park that would normally be full, but they're rerouting vehicles away from here.
That time. Yeah.
So if you've just joined, here we are at BAE Systems on Kaurna Yerta land. We're about 20 kilometres north of Adelaide. BAE Systems is on what's called the Edinburgh Defence Precinct, which comprises the RAAF Air Force Base, the Australian Defence Force Defence Science Technology facility, and an area adjoining all of that for private companies to build weapons, as they are here at BAE Systems. I might just go for a little walk in a minute and I'll show you some of the buildings they have here. There's about 6 or 7 factories. It looks like they were part of the General Motors Holden network, people who made stuff for Holdens. And when Holdens closed, they switched to weapons. Okay, so the police have arrived. Yeah, they switched to making weapons. And they've been making parts for F-35s at this facility since 2014. The last public announcement they made was 2019, when they said they'd reached their 15,000th titanium part made in this facility. Since then, they've gone very quiet. They don't say anything. But we're onto them. We know they're here and we know they're making some awful stuff. So I'll just let this play out. Police are here.
We would be happy to get some bolt cutters down here. No, you guys are going to have to get up.
That's okay, we'll remain here, so that's alright. Yep. Yeah. Take my notes.
About Extinction maybe Extinction Rebellion protesters here. One of them's Adelaide, so
So police have given instructions for the person chained onto the gate. Our police liaison's just having a chat with them. And we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so as we just said to her as well, you're going to need to move this. You can go out over here onto the public property, but not blocking in their entrance on their private property, okay? Yeah, we just did. She was just standing with us. Well, we just spoke with her, so then she can relay them that you need to move.
no, that's fine.
So it looks like people are just moving away a bit from the private property. That's been the direction from police.
Yeah.
Jordan, can you just hold these? The cameraman or just hold it?
Well, we've got to get our sign.
Please, guys that can manage. Can you guys help me get the posters down, please? I know we were asked to move off, but we've also been asked to take the posters down.
Ladies out.
What's your name? Derek.
He's about to be arrested, so then he won't be able to do what
Perfectly fine to it.
It just defeats the whole purpose because then you're still taken away from him.
While we're dealing with this, guys, can we get all you guys to just move on the
Not much, unfortunately.
driveway as well? So we can do that. So just off the driveway for us. Onto the bed. Can I get you to move your phone as well, please? Do we have the keys?
Yeah, who's that padlock here? Who's like responsible for that one? Who's responsible for that?
It's responsible for the lot, do you know? Do you know who took the key? No. No. That must have been one of the others that took the key.
It might have been Benjamin Netanyahu or Donald Trump.
Could have been Donald Trump. That's strange.
I know. He's threatened to use a nuclear weapon, so you never know. It might have been Donald Trump.
That's fine, we'll remove ourselves. And because we've got another car coming up, that'll be that car till we get arrested. Okay. Leave.
Yeah, the present spoke about theirs already.
What are you saying?
So there's a discussion going on now. Police have said they will remove the chain around the person who's locked on. Security are just saying that the chain that's been used to lock the gate closed should not be removed first because the gate will open automatically. So anyway, police say that they have that message and we'll be keeping an eye on it. Police liaison's just getting numbers and names from all the police. Okay, so the police have moved us all off. We were on private property, they've moved us off, so we followed that direction. And the person chained on is not saying anything.
Hands off.
So, if you've just joined us, here we are at BAE Systems. We've been here for about an hour and a half. BAE Systems at Edinburgh Park in South Australia. Somebody's chained the gate shut and somebody else has locked themselves onto the gate. It's closed the car park. There are no cars in this car park. And cars have been diverted from the main car park to a third car park, which is accessed through a defence boom gate. Police are here and have directed us all to get off what they call private property on the driveway. So we're just waiting to see what happens now.
We're about safe community.
So of course we're here because BAE Systems in this factory is making parts for F-35s, but they're making parts for a whole lot of other war machines, including ships. They're hoping to make parts for the AUKUS submarines here, and there's a whole lot of undisclosed manufacturing going on. We don't know what. It's a large facility, employs about 1,000 people in 6 or 7 buildings behind this big building here. And we need them to stop. They're complicit in genocide. They've been supplying the Israeli government with F-35 parts. even though they know there's a genocide going on, even though they know the International Court of Justice has said it's a genocide, even though Benjamin Netanyahu has an arrest warrant out for him. They're still supplying those parts and they're still knowingly complicit in a genocide. They're not the only ones. Australian government, Penny Wong, Anthony Albanese, even Peter Malinauskas from South Australia, they all know that's going on. They know what's happening here. They know where these parts are going. Yet they continue to try and build a weapons export economy. So I'll just move along here.
We're interested in safer communities. That's what we're here for safer communities.
Exactly.
And on the car, on the police car over there, it says they're for safer communities too. This is a little bit ironic, a bit strange, a bit contradictory. They're here trying to stop us producing a safer community.
That's right.
This is amazing.
Yeah, we're here trying to stop weapons of destruction being exported from here and parts for weapons of destruction, but they're here protecting that industry. They're here protecting companies complicit in genocide.
Yep. They're protecting killers. That's the bottom line.
That is the bottom line, and that's the simple way of putting it, protecting killers. That's what the police force is doing. So BAE Systems, stop arming genocide. We say no to a weapons economy. Stop arming Israel. Stop exporting terror. That's what we're opposed to today. So we're staying right here. Our friend is remaining locked to the gate. Very staunch.
It's a killer company. BAE Systems, a killer company.
That's right, it's a killer company, it's complicit in genocide.
And the police are here to protect it.
So we're just waiting to see what the police are going to do. Here we are at BAE Systems. They manufacture weapons and parts for weapons in this facility. Parts from here have been exported. This is the Edinburgh Defence Precinct. The concept of Defence Precinct has been pushed by the Australian government. South Australian government has picked it up full steam ahead to a weapons economy. That's what they're after. These companies have inserted themselves into Australia's Defence Force. They've set up on defence land. They've set up on land supplied by the government. They use taxpayers' funds to do a lot of their work. Recently, Raytheon used taxpayers' funds. They were given funding from the Australian Defence Force to upgrade the Woomera rocket facility for testing Raytheon's hypersonic missile. These will never come to Australia, so it's not part of our sovereign defence. This is all part of using Australia to test weapons and not give them to us and sell them to other people, and then use them to destroy from a long distance places like Iran, places like Palestine. This is all gearing up for a larger war. In Australia, we're acutely aware that what they're doing is gearing us up for a war with China. They want conflict with China. So far, the Chinese have avoided it, but AUKUS is all about that. It's all about the United States ramping up its push against China. So it's a waiting game at the moment.
I wonder they're hanging around so. Yeah.
As was pointed out, South Australian police are here for safer communities. Well, they're here protecting a company that's complicit in genocide, so how's that safe? I'll just go for a little walk along here. They also fly the Aboriginal flag. Well, they don't give a rat's about Indigenous lands. They don't give a rat's about Aboriginal people. So this is the main building of this BAE BAE Systems facility in Edinburgh Park. And we've managed to close them. And here we have our staunch friend chained to the gate, refusing to move.
The answer is yes.
Sorry.
Well, now we've got the backups arrived. 5 cars for one person locked to a gate. So we'll see what's going to happen. So here again we see the police being used to defend a weapons maker, defend a company that's exporting terror, a company that's exporting parts being used for a genocide. They know they're exporting parts being used in the genocide, they're complicit in the genocide, and the police have stepped in to protect them by dealing with one person chained to a gate by sending 5 police vehicles. And God knows how many cops. I haven't counted them yet, but plenty of cops. So we'll see what happens. So there's a briefing happening here. Not sure what they're going to do. So if you've just joined us, here we are at BAE Systems in Edinburgh Park, South Australia, about 20 kilometres north of Adelaide CBD. This is a large BAE Systems facility. It's a manufacturing facility. What you see is the main office, which is a large building anyway, and behind that there are 6 or 7 factories, employ about 1,000 people, and they make parts for weapons here, including parts for F-35s. The F-35 parts are sent to Marand in Geelong, and they're sent to the UK, to BAE Systems in the UK. From there, they're distributed to God knows where, but the F-35 parts are definitely being used to commit genocide against the Palestinian people. They're also being used in bombing Lebanon, in bombing Iran right at the moment by Israel and the US. Some of those parts come from here. Now we've got someone locked onto a gate. The gate's been locked before they locked on. The police have directed us all back onto public property. Apparently the gate is on private property, and we're just going to wait and see what they're going to do. Just do a quick count, 3, 5. There's about 10 police. There's 5 vehicles. And there's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. There's 12 of us. So we've been here for coming up to an hour and 3/4. Police have said they're going to cut the chain and remove our friend, who's very staunchly standing there. And this is all about us pushing back against the weapons economy. There's a push in Australia for a weapons economy. We need it to stop. We've got far better things to do with our money than build weapons. People need stuff to live. They don't need weapons to be exported elsewhere to kill other people. Looks like 2 police vehicles are leaving. Yep, there's 2 gone. There's 4 police gone, the first 4 to arrive. So we've got 2, 4, 6 police and another vehicle just arriving. You're a legend, Davin.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Really staunch.
Oh, there, yeah. Okay, I've taken it. You're welcome to do an interview, of course, if you would like, because I think you've got the Sorry? Oh, I don't have a chat now. Just oh, do it.
Everyone's done so well, especially because it's so cold. Yeah.
Bloody hell, the media actually earning their money for change.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on?
That's right. Same guy that came down
Do you know which channel? Is it?
So it looks like the media have arrived, and our friend Davin is still staunchly locked onto the gate. So if you've just joined us, we're at BAE Systems. We're doing this action under the umbrella of weapons out of everywhere. We want weapons manufacturers to get the fuck out of Australia. We don't want you here. Go away. We've got skilled people here who can make things that people actually need, not just making things that kill people for your profit. This is BAE Systems. We're about 20 kilometres north of Adelaide in the Edinburgh Defence Precinct. The gate was locked and our staunch friend has chained himself to it. Police have responded in numbers and the media's here just doing an interview. And we're waiting to see what happens to our friend. BAE Systems make parts for export here. They make parts for F-35s. They get sent over to Geelong, and some get sent to the UK, to BAE Systems. That's where they're based. And then from there, they'll be distributed around the world to whoever wants it, including Israel. They also make parts for naval shipbuilding. And we don't know what other weapons they might be making in here. We're right next door to the RAAF Edinburgh Air Force Base, and immediately behind this building, I think you can possibly see some red brick behind our friend locked on the gate. There's about 6 or 7 small factories like that that are used to make the parts for BAE Systems. Further behind that is Defence Science Technology, part of the Australian Defence Force. And we're right next door to the RAAF Edinburgh Air Force Base. Many global weapons manufacturers are located within the Edinburgh Air Force Base, so Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman. They also have facilities at Mawson Lakes, which is about 10 kilometres from here. Large facilities, Raytheon's down there with a very big factory. Kongsberg, the BAE Systems have another facility there. Saab are there. These are all weapons makers. They've inserted themselves into the Australian and South Australian economy, and we don't want it. We don't want a weapons economy. It's got to stop. That's why we're here. Just calling out BAE Systems. They're complicit in genocide. They're part of the US imperialist war machine. They might be British, but they're part of the US machine. So we've got our media spokesperson talking to Channel 7. We're not quite sure what the police are going to do. They're being pretty slow about it, whatever it is they're going to do. You okay, Davin? Need anything? Awesome. So just have a look at some of the messaging here. Very apt for here. BAE Systems, weapons kill kids, don't work here. Free Palestine. Genocide starts with weapons parts. And have a look over the road. Arms dealers export terror, and that's what these people are doing. BAE Systems, where war crimes begin. That's exactly right. Stop arming Israel. You've got blood on your hands, BAE Systems. We say no to a weapons economy. And again, BAE Systems, stop arming genocide. BAE kills.
Bullshit armaments engineering. BAE. What's BAE short for? Bullshit armaments engineering.
That's a good one.
morning for a protest?
Yeah.
You did one of the speak. Anybody else? Yeah. Anyone wants to say anything in particular?
Yes. Do you want to talk to them?
Do you want to have a chat? Yeah.
Hold that, please. Or not? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Great.
can.
I'll have a chat with this gentleman over here.
Stand behind them with me.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, just first of all, do you want to give me your name?
Eugene.
Eugene?
Yep.
Just leave it at that?
Yep.
Okay. Well, just tell us why you're here, Eugene. What are you hoping to get across?
You don't need to
stand
there. Just the way you want. Okay. We're here to show that Australia's complicit in the genocide in the Middle East. This company here is an example of that. They make essential parts for the F-35 planes.
Just put yourself in the sun. Just go back a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, that's the way. All right.
Just once again, tell us why you're here.
We're here to show that Australia is complicit in the genocide in the Middle East, Gaza and Iran. This company here is an essential company that makes parts for the F-35s. They're the planes that are dropping bombs at the moment on schools in Iran, on children and families in Palestine. Australia needs to step out of that war. We don't support the war. These companies are making huge profits. How obscene is that? The people are making profits, dividends are going up, and people on the other side of the world are getting massacred. We're saying no to that. We're saying Australia needs to step out.
Do you think chaining yourself to the entrance of a business is a good idea?
I think any action that highlights this issue is a good action, a non-violent action, of course.
So you're not here for trouble with the police or anyone else?
This action is a non-violent action, as all of our actions have been. There's no intention of action. This is about raising the issue and about showing that some people are committed to doing what it takes to actually raise this issue as an important issue for the media. It's good that you guys are here. Too often the media have taken a stand about not publicising these sort of actions. So it's good to see you guys here today actually doing something about that.
Will you continue as the war continues, your actions and protests?
We will definitely continue as long as the genocide continues in Gaza and the genocide continues in Iran. We will continue these actions.
Thanks, Eugene.
Okay. Awesome. Nice work. I think this might be Star Force. I'll have a look. That was nice work. No, it's not Star Force.
And the West Bank.
Good morning if you've just joined us. This is Weapons Out of Everywhere. We're a collective of peace activists in Kaurna Yerta, Adelaide, South Australia. And we're here today at BAE Systems in Edinburgh Park. This is the BAE Systems facility. Their entry and exit gates have been locked shut. We have somebody chained to the gate. We're here because BAE Systems make parts for F-35s. We're here because BAE Systems make weapons. BAE Systems export weapons and parts. BAE Systems is complicit in genocide because they know that the parts that they export and the weapons they export are being used for genocide. This is a non-violent protest, as our protests always are. And this is a large facility. This is the main building, but behind it, and you can see some of them in the background, the red brick buildings. There are 6 or 7 of these large sort of warehouse type manufacturing facilities, and they make particularly titanium parts, but it's precision engineering that goes on behind here. They employ about 1,000 people in this facility, so it's large. We've managed to shut a couple of their car parks today, and our friend is staunchly staying on the gate. Police have arrived in numbers. They're here to protect the genociders. They're here to protect these weapons makers. If we turn up to protest, any protest, even though we're always non-violent, they turn up in numbers. We've had a couple of vehicles already leave. They've probably got about 10 police here at the moment. Oh no, there's another vehicle. So they've got 1, 2, 5 vehicles here at the moment. We had 6 before. For one person, calmly chained to a gate. And this is all about protecting these weapons, global weapons companies. They're big ones. 7 of the 10 largest global manufacturers are here in South Australia. They do anything from making guided missiles to parts for F-35s to parts for submarines, parts for ships. They can see a big opportunity in the AUKUS program. They can see an opportunity to make an awful lot of money. BAE Systems have established themselves down at Osborne, right next to where the submarines will be made. They'll be part of that whole process. So they see a lot of money to be made out of AUKUS submarines. We say no to AUKUS. Been waiting for the last half an hour to see what the police are going to do, but they just seem to be standing there and they're not doing much. And we've been here for a couple of hours. Oh, this is good work. So Davin, our friend who's chained to the gate, has a placard now. BAE Systems, blood on your hands. They absolutely do have blood on their hands. Arms dealers export terror. That's what they're doing. Doing it knowingly, so they're complicit in genocide. They're arming Israel. They're making money out of that, making money out of the misery of the Palestinian people. We're just here for peace. That's what we want. We don't want a weapons economy. We want peace. We'd rather that the effort that goes into making these things, could be much better used to make things that are useful to Australians. A lot of these facilities out the back here that BAE Systems are using used to be used to make parts for General Motors Holden when we had a car industry at Elizabeth just across the railway line here. What they did was switch from making cars to making weapons. They've been making parts for F-35s in this facility since 2014, and they're predicting they've got at least another 10 years to go on that. So that's what's going on here.
There's a real irony here. There is a real irony here. We've got police cars over there with the words safer communities on them. We're about wanting a safer community which is free of violence and war. Why are they protecting merchants of violence? This seems most incongruous. This is an absolute contradiction.
You're right, Harold. Yep. We need a safer global community, and that precludes having anything like BAE Systems. Companies like that should not exist anywhere in the world.
We don't need this sort of warfare. We need good negotiators that can resolve conflicts without war. War just profits very few people and it kills many, and maims and wounds and leaves legacies that last for decades, if not centuries. Violence needs to end. We need peace.
That's exactly right. We do need peace. That's what we're after. Wage peace, not war. We're here to disrupt the war machine. So we're still waiting to see what the police are going to do about our friend who's staunchly locked onto the gate. They're still in a conflab, so I'm not sure what they're planning. All that for one person. All to protect a company that's committing genocide, knowing that they're committing genocide. If their parts are going into weapons that are being used for a genocide, they're complicit in that, and they know it. Oh. I think we should. So we're encouraging people to not work here. They should be given the opportunity to use their skills elsewhere and for things that benefit the community, not things that destroy the global community. Just hold that for a bit. I've just got to get my battery out. No problem. Hopefully. Behave. Now we're just going to have a look at what's happening here. So what's happening?
They'll be talking with BAE Systems to see what they want to do and take it from there. They asked what we would be doing. I said, we're just here to support our friend.
Great.
We'll stay while he needs us.
Yeah, great.
What do we do? In terms of projects?
Yeah. Actually, if BAE Systems said they were just shut down now, we'd all go home. That's a good plan. If they said, oh, okay, they're closed, we're shut, we won't make any more, then we'd all go home.
We would. We'd be very happy with that.
You might ask for a list of what they wouldn't take. Do you think we would?
Well, they could make useful things, I suppose. Maybe we could give them a list and say, make these instead, and you can stay.
Water filtration system.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Just stop making shit that blows things up.
It's a minor detail.
So, police have just gone to ask BAE Systems what they want to do, what they want them to do. So how's that? Police are taking their direction from BAE. Surprise, surprise. Whoops. Oh, that's... Well, it does, but it's gonna clock someone and it's gonna break. Maybe a little bit, maybe like that, sorry. So if you've just joined us, here we are at BAE Systems, Edinburgh Park, about 20 kilometres north of Adelaide, Kaurna Yerta. The main entry gate to the car park at this building has been locked shut, and our friend has locked onto it, and I believe the exit gate has also been locked shut. So that car park is empty. We've been here for just over 2 hours. It's about 12 of us. And this is all about telling BAE Systems that we want them to stop manufacturing parts for F-35s. Parts are made here and exported to the UK. Parts are made here and sent over to Geelong, to Marand, where they're made into parts made into the tails for F-35s, and from there they get exported. So this factory, there's a number of factories behind here. Manufactures parts for naval ships, for submarines, we don't know whether they're doing missiles here or not. They're certainly doing parts for F-35s. Anything that involves titanium. There's about 1,000 people working there in the factories behind here. And they are exporting terror, as this says. They are an arms dealer. They're a global arms dealer. The F-35s, BAE Systems makes 15% of that. The F-35 is a Lockheed Martin jet, and that's used as a plane of preference by Israel. It's been used in the genocide in Gaza, it's been used in Lebanon, it's been used in Iran. And this has all been done. BAE Systems are not the only big weapons company that have set up here. We've got Lockheed Martin, we've got Boeing, we've got Northrop Grumman, we've got Kongsberg, we've got Saab. They've all set up here. And they're all manufacturing weapons, some for the Australian Defence Force, but they're also exporting weapons from here. This is on what's called the Edinburgh Defence Precinct, which is one very large complex that includes the Australian Government's Defence Science Technology area behind here, and it's adjoining the RAAF Edinburgh base. A lot of these big weapons companies are inside the base. Boeing is operating out of there. Northrop Grumman is operating out of there. They assembled and taught people how to fly, taught the Australian Air Force how to fly the Triton UAVs that fly out of Tyndall Air Force Base, but they're flown remotely from here, from Edinburgh Air Force Base. And those fly over the Indian Ocean and South China Sea. And this is all about the American strategy to provoke China. And Australia has bought into that, and we want it to stop. That's what AUKUS is all about. It's all part of that. We want it to stop. BAE Systems, like the rest of them, know that what they're doing, what they're selling to Israel is being used for genocide, so they're complicit in that genocide. Exports from here cannot happen without Australian government approval. So we've got Penny Wong, Richard Marles, Anthony Albanese. We've got Premier Peter Malinauskas, Minister for Defence and Space Industries. They're all involved in ensuring that these companies can keep making what they make in Australia under the protection of Australian police, and here they are right here, and the Australian Defence Force protecting them, so they can continue. So our government ministers and our government departments are complicit in genocide as well. And one day, the International Court will catch up with them. Unfortunately, it won't happen quick enough, but they will get their just desserts one day. And here's our friend. He's chained. He's been isolated. We were with him offering support. The police have moved us off that area, which they claim is private property. So we're on public space. And police are just deciding what to do with him. And surprisingly, well, not surprisingly really, the police just said they're going to ring BAE Systems up and see what they want them to do. So they can't even make a decision on their own without finding out what BAE Systems want. So it'll be a BAE Systems decision what happens here today. I'm just going to go along here and have a look. So here we've got a private corporation being protected by taxpayer-funded police. As we said to them, if BAE Systems just said, okay, we're going to shut up shop and go somewhere else, we'd say, okay, we'll go home. That'd be a fair deal, I think. And of course, it's not just here in Edinburgh. About 10 kilometres away is Mawson Lakes. That's another place where Raytheon has a factory, Lockheed Martin has a facility, Saab have a facility, BAE Systems have another facility there. Kongsberg, the Norwegian missile maker, they are working jointly with Raytheon on a missile for the Australian Defence Force. Down at Osborne at Port Adelaide, another 10 kilometres further on from there, BAE Systems have a very large facility, and they've got their snouts well and truly in the AUKUS trough. They can see a whole lot of money coming their way, so they've built a very big facility down there. So they're going to lead quite a bit of the manufacturing of AUKUS, which will never happen. So it's this fictitious thing where we're just funneling money into all these corporations and we'll get nothing out of it. About 100 kilometres north of here, on what's called the Proof Establishment, where Australian Defence Force has been testing weapons for many years. Lockheed Martin has been allowed to build a guided missile factory on defence land. In theory, it's for missiles for the Australian Defence Force, but they also say if there's any excess, they will export them. So we're building guided missiles for export on defence land in South Australia. About 500 kilometres north of here is Woomera Rocket Range. Raytheon were given an Australian contract to upgrade Woomera so that they could test hypersonic missiles that will be used by the United States. They won't be used by us, they'll be used by the United States. So we paid for them to test their missiles on our land. So this is absolute shit fuckery and it has to stop. Raytheon are the world's largest missile maker. Lockheed Martin's the largest weapons maker, but Raytheon's the largest missiles maker. And they're right here with a big factory just down the road. Right, some movement here. Maybe some police about to leave. They must be going to ask BAE head office what they want done with us pesky protesters. I'm not sure if you can read it, but that placard that our friend is holding says, BAE Systems, weapons kill kids, don't work here. And we're encouraging people to not work for these weapons manufacturers. They have incredible skills, these workers, amazing skills, and there are so many more things that our money could be going into than making weapons. Our country needs all sorts of things made for the benefit of Australians, for the benefit of the people who live here, for the benefit of local communities. And instead, our money's being used to prop up these big corporations whose only aim and the only way they make a profit is by creating misery for other communities, global communities. So, misery in places like Palestine, West Papua. Australia's complicit in genocide. We want an arms embargo now. So that's what this company, BAE Systems and the rest of them, their business model is in death and misery. That's how they make a profit. They're closely aligned with the fossil fuel industry. Fossil fuels drive the war machine, and the war machine operates to get more fossil fuels. So it's this vicious cycle, and the two of them are in lockstep. Most of it's been driven by big investors, and those investors invest in fossil fuels and weapons. That's their interest. That's where the profit is. The war in Iran at the moment has boosted profits for all of them. Fossil fuel prices have gone through the roof. Weapons share prices have gone through the roof. That's what this is all about. That's what the war in Iran is all about. Distract from Donald Trump and distract from Donald Trump being part of the Epstein elite. So they've started a war, and that's suddenly become very profitable for fossil fuel corporations and for weapons corporations. So the people here today, we're just after peace. We want peace. We don't want this war economy in South Australia. We have a warmonger premier in South Australia, Peter Malinauskas.
Short-sighted warmonger.
Short-sighted warmonger. Yes, that's exactly right.
Probably doesn't even realise it.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. We've asked you want these to purchase copies. Oh, okay. So that's going to be going to
Looking good. They're going to so she's going to see what they wanted to do. It's up to them. So they might be all thinking, wait with that. You know, we have to be prepared for that. I should actually warn Capra that they might be.
Yeah.
Playing the waiting game. Should warn them of that. I don't think I've said.
There's a couple of cars gone now.
Sorry?
There's a couple of cars.
Yeah. So there's only two police. Yeah. No, there you go. I must have realised here. No, so this is the media people. No signs. Same one. You take what you get. Yeah. He's actually given me go back to pick up now.
You're not filming it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
I've got the same one.
Have you?
Yes.
Yes, that's actually waterproof.
Somebody's got job.
It's hiding.
It is. So it looks like we're playing a waiting game. See what BAE Systems want to do. I'll just go and see if he wants to jump.
before.
Maybe we should. But anyway, I want to speak about
Yeah.
that's a good point. That's the other thing. That's the thing. And do you get maybe? Anyway, is it all about the media, or is it about social media, or what is it? Is it upsetting BAE? Because I think we've already done it. Oh, yeah, we opened it up. So is that right? Yeah, I would.
Can I ask a favour? Yeah. Can you just take Oliver for a little walk down there so the discussion's not. What's that mean for us? What's that mean for us? Okay. Couple more minutes. Couple minutes, go. Sorry, I forgot that one. Sorry, I'll be back in a minute. Just some great content for people at home.
Yeah, that's what you eat when you're in a protest. It goes on and on. You want some food?
Ah, yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you want another one? I've got a spare. Yep.
Jordan.
Yes, please.
I'll make sure. Who else? Who hasn't had one? We might get round the crew. I think we will.
Thank you. Live stream saw that. Live with the shame.
I wonder if it's good.
Yes. Happy? You want one? Yes, I do. That's the last one.
So I don't know if it's gluten itself or just the wheat. It's nasty and stuff, and then when I stuff it, that's what it really does.
Very fast. No, just have it.
All right. Let's slide down.
Close enough for you. There's the bag. It's not gluten.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I cut them into small bunches.
I'm good, thank you.
Sure.
They've just put this in. Coffee. I think we're going Thank you. It's likely it will be used.
They're insane. They're insane.
Have we got any water?
Yes. We have. We've got a whole cask of water in cups, but it just so happens there's a bottle.
Thank you.
Anyone else want water?
Can you hold this for 5 seconds? Thank you.
So if you've just joined us, we're here at BAE Systems in Edinburgh Park on Kaurna Yerta land, so we're about 20 kilometres north of Adelaide. This is a facility that produces weapons and parts for weapons. It's a large facility. The gate was locked, and a staunch friend of ours has locked himself to that gate. Police are here. They've been here for an hour or so, and they're playing a waiting game. So they've just had their snacks. I think they're taking rotations to go off and have a rest. So we're doing the same. We're having a rest and having our snacks, and we'll see what eventuates. But look, folks, if you're anywhere near Edinburgh, Elizabeth, please pop on down. Looks like we'll be here for a little while. We're on Taranaki Road, Edinburgh. So head towards the Edinburgh Air Force Base, and opposite the base is Taranaki Road. And drive down there and you'll find us, BAE Systems. This is a very big complex with multiple factories out the back. They make parts for F-35s. They make parts for naval shipbuilding. They make parts for other weapons, all here. This is precision machining. There's about 1,000 people work here. And it's part of a very large area north of Adelaide called the Edinburgh Defence Precinct. That includes the RAAF base at Edinburgh. It includes Defence Science Technology, where they design and build weapons for cyber warfare, and where they design weapons to go and test up at Port Wakefield, 100 kilometres north of Adelaide. That's for smaller weapons, and weapons are taken up to Woomera for testing there. So we're in a bit of a lull at the moment. We've been here for a couple of hours, no, 3 hours, in a bit of a lull, waiting to see what the police are going to do. They did say they were going to go and ask BAE Systems what they want them to do, so it's down to BAE Systems. So again, there you go, a global corporation telling our South Australian police what to do. And just over the road we've got Channel 7. They've been here for a while. And it looks like it might rain soon, so everyone's just rugged up. We're here for the long haul. We're not going anywhere. Yeah, so head on down if you're anywhere in the area. Be very happy to see you. So BAE Systems export terror. They arm Israel. War crimes begin here. South Australia is becoming a weapons economy. That's one of the priorities for the new Labor government, is to increase the weapons exports out of this state. And BAE Systems are arming genocide. And they're doing that knowingly, so they're complicit in that genocide. The Australian government approves the export of parts from here straight to Israel. They've known the genocide's been going on, and they've still been signing off on those exports. So people like Anthony Albanese, Richard Marles, Penny Wong, and the heads of a number of departments have been approving this stuff, so they are complicit in genocide. And they've been lying about it. We know they've been lying. Meanwhile, our friend's been sitting chained to that gate for about 3 hours. People have been going through, talking to him, taking him snacks, making sure he's warm enough. It's pretty cold. First sort of cold spell we've had this season. Here we go, cut ties with F-35s. Genocide starts with weapons parts. At the end there you can see the tail of an aeroplane. That's an old Orion, and that's at the gate of the Edinburgh Air Force Base. So that's how close this facility is to the Australian Air Force. Inside that Air Force Base we've got Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Boeing. They're all queued up, all grabbing Australian taxpayers' money, grabbing all the subsidies they can get to build their weapons, and they're building weapons for export. They're propping up the US war machine, using taxpayers' money to prop it up.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Thanks, Lord.
I thought you'd gone into like
And Kathy said it's starting to rain.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And I can see the map. It's going map.
Yeah.
Should go and get his coffee. It's bloody long.
When they came back.
Not being. Is it the same thing? Is it?
Same brand.
I'm so sorry to copy you.
No, it's the same brand exterior. It's a good one.
Well, I got this for the foresty thing in Newcastle.
Okay. Yep.
And it really grew.
It's a joke, and then they all come out like holding their cups. Damn it.
Just going to get the bank.
Quickly.
Taking the banner down.
We don't want to wait for the meeting.
Oh well. So it looks like a decision's made to unlock. Okay, so all back into the vehicles you came in, and maybe we'll just go to McDonald's first. Okay. All right. Well, folks, our staunch Bunny has made the decision. Time to go. So we're going to close off now. Thank you for watching. All the best, and peace to everybody.